and happy Monday to you. We are just 2 days away from being able to say Happy New Year into 2025. So, we're going to be wrapping things up with news you can use as we talk about some celebrations for New Year's Eve, as well as those last couple of days to see the Christmas lights displays. If you haven't had a chance to do so, or maybe you only took in one or two, I'll let you know which ones still exist today and then wrapping up tomorrow as well. We're also going to talk about weather and how it's going to start feeling a little chillier, really actually start to feel like winter. We'll find out if we still need our umbrella like we have over the last few days, and when in the heck are we going to see the sun again. We will also memorialize our oldest United States president who passed away, Jimmy Carter. We'll start with that in our news you can use in just a second. And then you see all of this in front of me. It all has to do with art, the creativity, the passion behind it. We're going to talk with someone who is very well known in the art world, Faith Berger, and a really cool nonprofit organization that she is so passionate about called Canvas for Kids, and how you can get your kids involved in art. I'll never forget being introduced to art when I was at a very young age, how much I loved it. And then who knows, when you're first introduced as a child, just how far you take with it. Well, Faith has gone really far. We're going to talk about all of this here and some incredible rugs and interior design work. All of that coming up today on The Real Monica Adams Show. Thrilled to have you along with us. Right now we are live for you on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. And then look later on today on Instagram and on TikTok as we'll put some reels just in case you can't stick around for the entire show. All right, let's say good morning with our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore. He does our What the Weather segment.
Good afternoon and welcome back into this new More Weather Forecast video. Have a great day, St. Louis. Stay prepared out there.
And good morning to him, aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore. How are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. Still thinking I'm eating a little bit too much, and I can't wait to get into New Year's resolutions. Have you had a lot of sweets?
Exactly. I still have that Christmas candy.
Yes, exactly. Lots of cookies, lots of candy that's out there. So this is that shift in, okay, I've had enough. Put it all away. I don't want to see it anymore. So are you excited about wrapping up 2024? Are you and your family doing anything for New Year's Eve?
No, not any plans at the moment.
Just relaxing at home, which a lot of people like to do. They want to stay off the roads with all the crazy people driving around. But I know people are thinking about what are we going to do if they haven't made their plans just yet, wondering what it's going to be like. We talked last week about whether or not we were going to see rain around for New Year's. So talk about New Year's Eve and then into New Year's Day and for the rest of the week for us.
Yeah, so we are going to have that rain chance as we head towards New Year's Eve, but likely as we head towards the evening, that's when the rain will taper off. So overall, a couple showers may be around the area.
All right, because I've told you, it's really important as women get all dressed up in their gowns, like do we have to put coats on, do we have to umbrellas, etc. There is a change in the temperature than what we've seen, and you also talked about the sunshine, so let's go ahead and hand it over to Beckett for the rest of the forecast.
All right, so looking at the current conditions right now in St. Louis, we got a temperature around 47, mostly cloudy skies, although we do have that sun peeking through right now, dew point around 38. Now looking at the hour-by-hour forecast this morning, 45 degrees, which is actually above our average high for this time of the year. That's how above average temperatures are right now, but hint, that will not stay for a while, as you will see on the 7th day. But going throughout the day, temperatures do warm up into the lower 50s. Now looking at tonight's forecast, 5 p.m. 51, going down to 50 with some rain 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So if you have any plans tonight, definitely going to see some rain, especially as you head towards the later evening hours. Now looking at tomorrow's forecast, 8 a.m. 42, and as we head towards midday, staying in the low 40s, again, showers there in the morning. That'll be associated with the same system causing the rain tonight. Now, finally, looking at the 7-day outlook, 53 degrees as our high today with that rain overnight tonight with a low of 40 tonight. Now, going into tomorrow for your New Year's Eve, we do have a 70% chance of rain. That chance does taper off throughout the day, but still a couple showers are possible as you head out the door for those New Year's Eve plans, if you have any of those, with a high of 45. And then on New Year's Eve, the ball dropping in New York is not going to be the only thing dropping. Here in St. Louis, the temperatures are going to be dropping. Look at the low Tuesday night, 30, and then the high really changing as we head towards Wednesday, 38. Sunshine finally back in the area, mostly sunny skies, mostly cloudy on Thursday, 39. And then this is when it starts really getting colder, Friday and then into the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, I do have a 60% chance of wintry mix. This could possibly be our first big winter weather system. But look, we're pretty far out from it now. If we do continue to see the sign that we could see some snow, could see some ice, I will come back on, especially on Friday, maybe even earlier, to let you guys know about that. But yeah, as we head towards next weekend, could have a pretty big storm system. Snow, wintry mix is going to be possible.
Wow. Okay. I know a lot of us have been thinking, when are we going to see the first one? Again, we are in winter, so it's not going to be unlikely to see that. It's just the fact that we haven't seen it for so many days and so many weeks that we did not expect it. So I know Beckett's excited about snow. All of you other snow lovers, there you go. We'll be checking with Beckett, of course, on Friday and keeping you safe if you are going to have any problems going into your Monday morning commute. Beckett, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll be talking with you on Friday.
You're welcome. You too.
All right, everyone, 7:07. If you are just tuning in, we're going to give you some news you can use. We've got some sports news and a fun kicker story about Will Ferrell. And then we will get into our topic of the day, which again has to do with art, the creativity, the creative juices. And maybe today you might be inspired to pick a hobby up as we get into New Year's resolutions. Many people say, I'm going to pick up a new hobby. I'm going to stick with it this year. Well, maybe it will be art. We'll be talking with Faith Berger coming up in just a few minutes. Let's start off memorializing Jimmy Carter. If you haven't heard, Jimmy Carter did pass away at the age of 100. Known for his advocacy for peace, he was a Nobel Prize winner. He was an author of 20 books, our oldest living president at the age of 100. And the Carter Center announced the death of the 39th president. He served in the White House from 1977 to 1981. According to the statement, he died peacefully, surrounded by his family. No cause of death has been announced at this time. Jimmy Carter set the standard for post-presidential service through his work with Habitat for Humanity. And the Carter Center said, our founder, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, passed away in Plains, Georgia. He was known a lot in his post-presidency for everything he did, including something that I am so glad that he was an advocate for, and that was for our health. Now, for those of you that love watching TV shows, do you remember the show Alice? Maybe some of the kids and the grandkids don't, but those of you looking at the screen right now, you probably recognize that beautiful woman, Linda Lavin, Tony Award-winning stage actor who became a working-class icon as a paper hat-wearing waitress on the TV sitcom Alice, has died. She was 87. She died in Los Angeles on Sunday of complications from recently discovered lung cancer. There's a New Girl in Town was the theme song. She sang that. It ran from 1976 to 1985. And of course, that iconic phrase, "Kiss my grits," was a catchphrase from the show Alice. She went on to win a Tony for Best Actress in a play for Neil Simon's Broadway bound in 1987. But maybe some of the younger generation might recognize her. She appeared in the film Wanderlust with Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd. She released her first CD, Possibilities. She played Jennifer Lopez's grandmother in The Backup Plan, and she was actually just recently promoting a new Netflix series in which she appears, No Good Deed, and filming a forthcoming Hulu series, Mid-Century Modern. Rest in peace, Linda Lavin. Well, in a follow-up story to one that we talked about within the last couple of weeks, saying that Big Lots was closing their doors, evidently that's not going to happen. They struck a last-minute deal, so these stores will remain open. Big Lots did file for bankruptcy protection back in September, but they reached a deal that will keep hundreds of its stores and its distribution centers open. They said it will be sold to Gordon Brothers Retail Partners, which is a firm that specializes in distressed companies. Gordon Brothers will then transfer Big Lots stores, their distribution centers, and other assets to other retailers. All right, we are still in the holiday spirit, and if you haven't had your fill, or maybe like us, you haven't had a chance to see any of these professional light displays, you've got the last 2 days to do so before we get into the new year. For today, if you want to go tonight for the last remaining light displays, I know the brewery lights, they're wrapping up today. The Anheuser-Busch brewery lights, they have their final day. And Tillis Park is also wrapping up today. If you want to go and see those tonight, and then you want to see some that are still available to you tomorrow, Wonder Lights at Worldwide Technology Raceway and the Way of Lights in Belleville, which is Our Lady of the Snows. They have their displays. Those will go through tomorrow. So you have 2 final days. Again, today it's the brewery lights and Tillis Park. Those wrap up. And then if you wanted to do those tonight and then 2 more tomorrow, the Wonder Lights at Worldwide Technology and the Way of Lights in Belleville. And just again, what about those New Year's Eve celebrations? So you just heard Beckett say that he's going to hang at home. Are you going to be a homebody as well? Are you going to get those hats and streamers and your little, tooting horns? Are you going to stay at home with your family? Or are you going to get all decked up and go out dancing? I know my parents used to love to go. They would go to a hotel with a bunch of other couples. They would have this huge thing in the ballroom. They'd spend the night there so they weren't on the roads, and then they'd come home the next day. Did anybody still do that? I thought it would be a blast to go out dancing tomorrow night. Still haven't made any plans in particular, but I'd love to know the celebrations that are out there. There's even some for kids. I think I heard driving in this morning a big celebration for New Year's Eve for your children at the Magic House. So look into that maybe, or maybe you go downtown for a big celebration as well. Let me know. Drop in the comments because we would love to know what is still out there. All right, in sports news, some friends of mine have driven to Nashville for this. Mizzou playing in the Music City Bowl against Iowa. This should be a fun one. The Tigers looking for back-to-back bowl wins over Big Ten teams after they defeated Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl back in 2023. The Music City Bowl matchup will be the final game in the Mizzou careers of multiple players, including quarterback Brady Cook, defensive end Johnny Walker Jr., and wide receiver Theo Weiss Jr. The kickoff is going to be at 1:30 p.m. today. If you want to watch it, it's on ESPN. By the way, Mizzou is a 3-point favorite. Illinois, they're also playing in a bowl game. That'll be the Citrus Bowl. That's tomorrow. It all comes down to this for South Carolina football. The number 14 Gamecocks have one final game as they face Illinois in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. That's at 2 o'clock our time on ABC tomorrow at Camping World Stadium. And if they defeat the number 21 Fighting Illini, they will become the 5th team in South Carolina history to win 10 games in a season. I also know people that have traveled to Chicago for the Winter Classic. If you're a big hockey fan, the Blues playing Chicago. That game is tomorrow. Face-off will be at 4 p.m. And then last night, I think a lot of people who went to this particular hockey game enjoyed this and probably got a lot of photo ops. There were so many comments all over social media. Did you see Buddy the Elf at the Kings-Flyers game? Will Ferrell all decked out with an unlit cigarette in his mouth and a beer. He looked a little grumpy, didn't he? I didn't know that Buddy the Elf smoked. Ferrell's been a mainstay, by the way, at the Kings games for several years, though he usually attends dressed in more casual attire. He made sure to keep the Christmas spirit going strong as he watched a game in his outfit from the classic 2003 movie Elf, and he was seen at one point when his team scored. Very celebratory, pumping his fist in the air and raising his beer. But people were all over social media saying this is everything. Will Ferrell in Buddy the Elf is what hockey needs. All right, everybody, there you go. You're up to date at 7:15. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to kick off our segment talking with Faith Berger. We're going to talk all about art, a really cool nonprofit that she has called Canvas for Kids, and how to get your kids involved in that, and really just the inspiration behind maybe turning art into one of your new hobbies. Faith Berger in the blue chair when we return.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
If I had to describe my style in 3 words, I would say modern, classic, and timeless. I've been in the art and design business for 40 years. A lot of times I'm called in when a design has gone rogue. The client isn't connecting with the designer, or the designer has options in mind that don't quite fit with the client wanted. Where I excel is putting all of those pieces together because of the resources I've cultivated over time. There's so many beautiful things in the world, from fabrics, textiles, to ceramics, art glass, painting, furnishings. My philosophy is that you want each piece to be outstanding on its own, but you also want it to be cohesive in the room. Clients come to me for my experience and my style and my no-drama approach to designing. The job is complete when all the pieces are in order and your vision has all been satisfied. My name is Faith Berger, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
I love it. The no drama approach. You can find more about Faith on her website. We'll be giving you that information, how you can follow her on social media, and how you can get your kids involved in art as well. Let's introduce her. Faith Berger, thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Monica. Bright and early on a Monday.
Bright and early. Now, would you normally be up this early? Or is this too
Yes.
early? Oh, you would? Good. Because some people are like,
your
Monica.
show 2 hours ago.
Good. Okay. Oh, wait. Don't say that. My team would be like, don't give her ideas.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to
Thank
our
you.
studio, by the way. We are going to talk about being introduced to art at a young age and this wonderful nonprofit that Faith has of getting your kids involved. In fact, the one first offering is already booked. We looked last night to register, so the kids are not going to get involved that aren't registered already for this weekend, but there are other offerings for this. It's called Canvas for Kids, and we'll get to that in just a second. But let me give you a little background on our friend here. Faith is a multifaceted artist whose journey has woven through roles as a gallerist, interior designer, art consultant. Her expertise and passion for creativity have always revolved around one central idea: the transformative power of art. This passion inspired her to found Canvas for Kids, which again is a heartfelt program dedicated to fostering self-expression and community through art. Whether guiding children's first brushstrokes or inspiring community connections, Faith's continuing to use her artistry to leave a lasting impact. And I love this quote, which is from Faith. Art is not just something we create, it's something that creates us. Canvas for Kids is about giving every child the opportunity to express who they are and see themselves in the beauty that they create. That's a beautiful quote, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
So how did you first get involved?
With Canvas for Kids?
No, for art. Let's go all the way
art.
back before we
Oh,
get
my
to Canvas for
goodness.
Kids.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'll be showing my age.
That's okay.
I was always involved with the art. My mother was an artist. She used to go with her friends to Harriet Gross, and they would do scratching on black paper, and they would do oil painting, and she always had some sort of artistry going on. Plus, she was very creative, sewed, was a master sewer. And I'll never forget her tripunta stitching for her cape. And, you know, she just was a really amazing self-taught artist. And into her 40s, I'd say, when I was in college, my brothers were older enough, she bought Barucci Gallery, which was on Olive Street Road from Bruce Rose. It was a little tiny framing gallery with a little partner. She wanted business. She'd never been in business before. Another attribute for my mom, who became also a master businesswoman. And she bought that and learned how to frame. And I was working in corporate America for venture stores.
Oh, okay.
Buying children's shoes. And after a long retail career. And with little kids, I decided to join her. And at the time, we had 3 locations, which was in Town and Country, Clayton, and U City. So we decided to merge into one, and we had one space then in Clayton.
In
for
Clayton, that's the one I
27
knew.
years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she and I worked together, and we sort of latticed our interests, you know, where I liked to go out and get business. She liked to do the books. She was an amazing framer. She did like master reproductions for the Art Museum, Southwestern Bell. She had a lot of corporate clients, and then also we had a huge residential business, and we carried 7 categories, which was original painting, jewelry, sculpture, ceramics, bronze, and then also the framing was sort of the bread and butter. So we did that for a long, long time, and then with the advent of the internet, you know, we became a showroom for the artists that we carried over 400. We introduced art glass to the St. Louis area, and you know, that was on the bend of Del Chihuly, who was in Seattle, and we went up there to see them and see how it was done, and brought the whole category to St. Louis, which was very successful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so we did that through 2011, and then, you know, people were coming in after all those years and trying to buy things themselves, and it was difficult to understand the colorations and the shapes because they vary. They're made by hand. And then they'd want us to fix the issue.
You're like, hello, this is all unique pieces.
Yeah, so it is not so easy to do it yourself, you know, designing art, and but we kind of saw the writing on the wall. It was hard to carry all that inventory at that point.
Sure.
So we closed the physical space, but I had
And when was that?
2011.
2011, okay.
Yeah, and then I had an art consulting firm I had started in 2007. So we sort of funneled back into that, and we're able to work with all our artists. The same thing, we just didn't have the physical space anymore.
Again, if you're just tuning in, Faith Berger is our guest, and we're talking about art. But all of you, think about when you were a young kid and you were introduced. Art as well as music, always my favorite. And then, of course, gym and lunch. And then science. But it's always interesting when you're introduced and what grabs hold. We're getting ready to get into the new year, and people are talking about either starting a new hobby or picking a hobby up that they completely forgot about. And I'm hoping that maybe you can be inspired today by maybe doing just that. So your mom was an incredible inspiration for you. She did pass.
She did 5 years ago.
5 years ago. I'm sure that was devastating because she was quite an impact in your life.
We were very interconnected, not only with business, but in art, but with family life. And she was an amazing grandmother. You know, she had all those building blocks in every single category, you know, that was so inspirational to me and how I conduct my life with my children and my grandchildren. And so, you know, there's got to be room for everything, right? So we don't want to cut anybody short because we're working, but we want to be fulfilled. And, you know, and of course we survived 2 recessions. There were 10 galleries in Clayton at one time.
Holy cow,
we were
that was
sort
competitive.
of the last man standing, if you will. And, you know, it was a sad moment, but yet, you know, we continued on with that art process. And during the pandemic and losing my mom, and so much of the world shifted, you know, we all shut down for two years almost. And I sort of woke up one day and had an epiphany that I was missing art. I was missing this facet of my life that I've done for so long. And I just started painting. And that really was how it happened. I went over to Dick Blick, which was then Art Mart, and I got brushes. I had some of her brushes, and I got canvases and came up with this. I just started. Well, I learned so many theories, you know, from different classes I'd taken, but also from her and from artists that we've known forever. You know, we worked with hundreds and hundreds of artists who came into St. Louis. You know, in those days, in the galleries, you had to have openings about 10 or 12 a year to be in the Gallery Association, to be recognized. So we invited artists in from all over, internationally, nationally, locally, to come in and do shows. And then we'd connect with Children's Hospital, Cardinal Glennon, and we'd have those artists go and spend a day with children who were sick and, you know, not feeling great, because art therapy is, of course, a wonderful take your mind off the world kind of thing.
Well, what you're talking about, there's therapy. If you all listen to that message, she talked about being isolated like the whole world was, being at home, and the depression for a lot of people kicked in. Mental health was finally talked about and raised up, and people started to say, well, how did you get through it? That was very cathartic for you, very therapeutic to start saying, well, I want to paint. The one thing that I hear a lot of you since we introduced Faith 10 minutes ago is her connection to children. It's always been there for you.
Yeah.
And so it's a no-brainer that you started this nonprofit, which I know she and I just went to lunch a couple weeks ago, and you could just see it just beaming in her about how excited she is to start this. We're going to talk about Canvas for Kids. Don't go anywhere, because you're going to want to know about how your children can get involved in this. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about that. I want to talk about these beautiful rugs and how that ever came about, because that is so unique. All of this. Again, if you have any questions for Faith, or maybe you have a piece that you've gotten from her or her mother, or you were into the galleries that they were involved in, drop some comments. I'm sure she would love to see that and see what impact that they had on your life. Don't go anywhere. More with Faith when we return. We are live on location, and this is a really cool thing. This is exactly what we can do from your business. We call it Mobile Monica. You know, I'm always on the move. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh my God. You enjoying this?
Always.
Watch this, I gotta move with her.
Orange Theory is created to help people live a more vibrant life.
When we tell you that they have some of the most beautiful sunsets, we mean it. We're now in the brainchild of Adventure Unknown. That thing
Well, he's got a
is
heck of a story
beautiful.
behind that leopard,
I
too.
know.
It's going to be a very dangerous shoot.
It'll be
She says it
fabulous.
is. Monica or Mez Adams. How's that
Yes,
sound?
that sounds great.
This is Marianne Graff, owner of Just Be Kind Coffee House and Cafe. And you can see all the people in line. Oh, that handsome gentleman is... That would be my husband, Jim.
My mission statement says I want people to feel better leaving than when they came in.
And you do. Again, no calories when you're spreading kindness.
No calories when you're spreading kindness, especially if it's on the weekend.
Welcome back. It is 7:29. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. Hopefully you can stay with us throughout the entire segment. If not, remember to always come back. I had a ton of you that were at our big end-of-year celebration at Sugar Creek Winery, and as soon as the show was over, a lot of you came up and said, so when can I see that? And I was like, as soon as it's over, it's there. That's the beauty of streaming. You've got all these wonderful shows. 400 plus shows that you can watch that we've been doing over the last year and a half. Go to whatever platform makes sense for you. Facebook, YouTube, X, we're on live right now. So text your friends and let them know, like, hey, this is something you might be intrigued by for your kids. We told you when we came back from the break, we were going to talk about Canvas for Kids, which is this wonderful, passionate project that our guest, Faith Berger, has launched. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So has this been in your mind for a while?
It was another epiphany moment. I woke up in the middle of the night, so to speak, saying, I just want to do this. A blank slate for children. There's social media. They have a lot of pressure on them to do all kinds of activities and get their resumes in order. And, it really is a lot of pressure to, then you have your friends and your family. And I wanted a place where they could shut down just for a minute and just focus on a canvas and putting paint on a canvas and creating their own ideas, and so that's sort of a metaphor, Canvas for Kids, because it's a blank canvas, and then you can create whatever you want. So, I pitched it to the St. Louis County Library, and they loved the idea, and we're starting with 6 events at 6 different branches, and the first one, of course, is January 4th at 3 o'clock at the Daniel Boone branch. It is sold out. I can't believe it. And I say sold out, but it's free. It's completely free.
So they've all registered for this particular one. We're going to stress there are others that we'll run through and let you know. But this one that's in Ellisville on Saturday is full. It's for ages 7 to 11.
7 to 11 in their Explore program.
Okay.
And you can find it online, all the different dates. I think the next one is February 20th at the Clark Family the new library that is absolutely spectacular.
So how many can be in each one?
20
Okay.
children.
So there they are. We're going to leave that on the screen for just a second. So the next will be Wednesday, February 19th. That's going to be in the evening. And then February 20th, Monday the 24th of March, and then Tuesday and Wednesday the 25th. And then, well, actually, should that be 26th? If it's 24, 25? Oh, it's Thursday. Sorry.
Yeah, Thursday
the 27th.
Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's February's and March dates. But as you can see, you probably need to go on and register quickly for your kids to be involved in this because it goes pretty quick. So 20 in each one of these. The future dates, hopefully still available and not completely, again, we don't want to say sold out, but completely full. Let's put it that way. So 7 to 11-year-olds. Now, here's the thing that I love that Faith did. You have a junior advisory board. Talk about that.
I do. I also sort of decided, no mountain was climbed alone. And who knows better about 7 to 11-year-olds than 12 to 13-year-olds because they've just been 7 to 11-year-olds. So I asked about 8 girls, and there's still room for 2 more, actually. I wanted 10 on the junior board, and we all got together, and I explained the program to them, and they'll help me set up, and they gave me all their ideas, what they loved about their art studio at school, what they thought they were missing, what they wished they could have done. It's funny. All children connect to art because it's the one place they can really, feel empowered. It's them and the canvas. And so I gave them each canvas. Each child will get an easel to in front of them, and they will get a canvas that they get to paint on and take home with them. And then we're going to do that for about 20 minutes. The first class is on Picasso. And so we're going to actually learn some theory about 6 different artists. And then the last 30 minutes, we're all going to paint together on a community canvas. And after the 6 sessions, we'll all meet at one of the libraries and present the canvas to the libraries.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
and then they're going to, they hang them there?
Well, we'll see. Yes.
We'll see. We hope so. So
That's
the
my
canvas
vision.
is given to them blank, and then the inspiration is just coming from within?
Well, we'll do a few baselines.
Okay.
Like Picasso, of course, is cubism. How the lines go to make a meaningful sort of start to that canvas. But then they'll be able to let go and create how they want to do it.
I love it. I can't wait to see these.
Yeah.
And again, that's the beauty of art and interpretation of art. Okay, what were you going for here? Someone else can be sitting there and looking in a gallery, and this is what I think the artist was doing. And it's like, well, if the artist is actually ever able to give us, this is what I was feeling, then you can kind of go there even deeper. If you're just tuning in, Faith Berger, again, is our guest. You can find out more information about Faith on her website as well as on social media. So there's Faith Berger Art. That's the best for them to follow.
Art is Instagram.
Yes.
That's where I post everything. Canvas for Kids 1 is starting its own sort of life on Instagram. And then, of course, on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook.
Yes, and then your website, which is a beautiful website, by the way. It gives you all the background on Faith and where her inspirations are. That video that we showed at the beginning when we were introducing Faith, you talk about your own, if someone would say, what is your style? You say it's a mixture of modern,
classic, also sustainability, because you can use the pieces that you already own to reconfigure them in a new situation. Therefore, if you move and you go, oh, I need all new furniture, it's just so overwhelming. We can use those pieces in different ways with different fabrics. And you may not need to buy any furniture at all.
Right, you were, and that's you can click on those videos on her website, and she'll talk about redoing the sunroom. And hey, we took these pieces and we just covered this, and then you add pieces in. It's fun because you can have people come to your home and say, "Oh, did you just go and get a bunch of new stuff?" And you're like, "No, I repurposed all of this. I just needed someone to help me with design." I mean, these are absolutely beautiful. That's the thing about people who have never hired an interior designer before. When they try to do it on their own, they get really stressed when it really should be a fun experience.
Yeah, absolutely. All of the pieces that you're looking at were repurposed. I mean, obviously you buy 2 or 3 or 4 new pieces to congeal the idea. The fun part is picking out all the fabrics to put it in a new vein. But whether it's traditional, modern, sleek, you can use those pieces in a traditional, modern, or sleek home, making it more eclectic maybe. And if you want a specific kind, you can totally redo. I can do anything you might want, but I do find a lot of satisfaction in repurposing pieces that you've already had. And if you go to, buy sofas and things like that, it's usually the same pieces similar to what you already own.
Right.
So, and you may have an heirloom that you want to throw in, and we can use it in a creative way.
That's the thing about design that I love so much, is that people are stuck. It's kind of like when you're writing, let's say for those of you that have been authors, or you're writing any kind of a piece, like, let's think of our younger generation in school, and you just feel like there's this block, and you think, I don't know how to even put this with this. That's where faith and others in that industry come into play, and then suddenly you're like, how did you see that? That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah. and particular places do need gutting, I mean, you may need to gut a bathroom. There's old pipes in some of these homes, and, you need to bring it up to code, and there's technical things. But as far as, repurposing, sustainability, these types of notions, especially going into 2025, we can work with pieces that you already own and then incorporate a new look to get to where you want to be.
Well, so you do from that design with regards to homes, and we talked about galleries, etc. Mine, of course, has always been in fashion, and it's fun to introduce somebody to, I would have never put that with that. How did you do that, right? It's what your eye sees. Same thing for interior design. When you're talking about, someone can say, well, I'm modern, and then as you said, modern, classy, eclectic, but maybe we can pair it with this. So many people would think, I would never have thought of putting this with this together, but then it works.
Right. And then it's sort of like merchandising, in a way. And so from my retail experience, you want to merchandise it to look the best, right? So that you have, and also functionality.
Yes.
You want to, in my particular situation, I wanted to seat 25 people in one room. And still, each space has its own sort of identity.
Right.
So we took a wall out, and then repurposed the furniture I had.
If you have any questions, by the way, about your own home or office, and you think, well, how could I do this? Yeah, she was absolutely happy to answer that. I also mentioned, besides the Canvas for Kids, which I want to talk a little bit more about that before we talk about these rugs. But let's go through this, because you've got 8 different things that I love about your missions and values with Canvas for Kids. We talked about empowerment already. Again, believing in empowering children and communities through the transformative power of art, but also the community collaboration, getting boys and girls in the ages of 7 to 11 together, all different, people from all walks of life. That's the beautiful thing, and you're seeing that in these pictures about how all the kids come together and probably forming some great friendships.
Yeah, when I had the junior board come, no one knew each other. A couple girls maybe went to the same school. They all ended up chatting. They all ended up talking. They're doing something together, and yet individually. And then the large community canvas is meant to bring everyone together, which of course I feel very strong about in my own community values.
Absolutely.
So,
what did they tell you most in this board meeting?
My board meeting. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They said the teachers, of course, they have a curriculum. And so they were working on 3D printing or whatever. I mean, they're doing very sophisticated things these days. But they wished, even though they knew what the project was and what they needed to get a grade, they wished they had a little more latitude in doing kind of free form, what they wanted to do with that. They wanted to explore.
Okay.
So, and while I first thought maybe I would just let them paint, I think there's a little bit more meaning if we have to talk about a particular artist.
Sure.
Then when you go to the museum and you go, oh, I heard of that guy Picasso.
Right.
The father of painting. And so a little bit of guideline so they can go home and talk about that. But also what I learned from the girls is to let them do it in a free form fashion.
Okay.
So I think when you listen to youth about what they love, and this gave them a little bit of freedom and empowerment too, to be involved in a project where they had a say.
And there's no one that is not obviously able to do this, very inclusive, regardless of background, regardless of abilities, to participate in this. And that's what I want you to understand. So if your kids feel a little lost, maybe this is something you want to introduce them to. So if they're registering for this, again, it's absolutely free, and she has partnered up with different branches of the St. Louis County Libraries. Everyone's included in this.
Everyone.
Right?
I mean, they thought the 7 to 11-year-old category would be a great place to start.
But if there's if someone says, well, my child has a disability or this or that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Anyone can come.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
Anyone can come.
And that what you're hearing in that is creativity, inclusivity, support, nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for them to come out of this. Now, in each one of these, and again, as we mentioned, this coming weekend, that one is completely full, but we'll show you again the other opportunities in February and March that you have for your children. If they take one, do they have the opportunity maybe to take another?
Sure.
Yes. Are you going to be?
sign-
You're going to be covering the same things, though?
No, we're going to be covering 6 different artists.
Oh, well,
So
then you get them involved in all of it.
Every single time will be, a different artist.
So again, this particular weekend, this Saturday, January 4th one, which is again in Ellisville, that is full. But if your kids love this, you might want to get them signed up for Clark Family, Thornhill, Grants View, Lewis and Clark, Florissant Valley. Again, 20 are open for your kids. And you also have some wonderful sponsors that made this happen for you also.
Yeah, I really do. Blick Art Materials has been phenomenal in their support. And of course, I get all of my supplies there for my own canvases and paints and brushes. And they have a donation page. It's not like it's just me, and you state your case and put your wish list together, and they responded right away. And so I'm very grateful to that. And then, of course, Taylor Scientific is a lab and chemical supply company. And it seems like anyone I really kind of approach is eager to get involved.
Well, of course, we want to help the budding minds of our children, because they are our next generation, and they're the ones that will be taking over the world, and we want to. They're our future leaders. So yes, thank you to all those sponsors that you are seeing on the scene there. Again, but well-being, sustainability, and impact. The impact that this will make. The canvasforkids.org. I want you to go to that website. Follow them also on Instagram. And then your website has a lot of information as well for people to find out about the interior design that she does. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about the rugs, because I was first introduced to Faith from one of the women that has been on the show several times, and we've done some collaborations together. Hats by Diane, who was watching, saying how much she loves you. She's the one that said, Monica, I want you to meet Faith. You've got to see these rugs that she does, that she paints. And I was like, paints on rugs? And she's like, yes, you'll understand. So we're going to talk about that in our last segment. Faith Berger and these rugs that you will want to stay tuned for. Don't go anywhere.
Monica's show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
Welcome back. Faith was just saying this is so exciting and timely. Faith Berger, again, is our guest, and we're talking about the creativity, those creative juices inside of you. I used to work with Karen Foss, who longtime news anchor, and a lot of you didn't know that she was an artist. She's now living in New Mexico, and that is what she does on a regular basis. Her art is just absolutely beautiful. And there are so many people that you don't know that have this passion on the side that sometimes, instead of like a hobby, turns into a side hustle, turns into like the main thing for them. Faith, again, found this love for painting during the pandemic and found her way through that therapeutic side of doing so. But the rugs, okay, so this is the creative side. She's got a little swatch here for us. So how did this all come about?
So this is really an amazing story, and you hear about matches on Instagram, but a gal in town, Valentina Casale, who's from Puebla, Mexico, their family has a rug manufacturing there, and she moved to St. Louis, but she was looking for artists to do this sort of thing, and I had a pop-up gallery a couple years ago in Clayton. And so I was showing different artists that I had called to say, let's get everybody out of the house. Let's, reconnect with art. And I had a big show in Clayton. And she walked in with one of my paintings done as a rug in New Zealand wool. And it was kind of love at first sight for both of us. She asked me if I wanted to collaborate. And this whole rug arm ensued. So any painting can be made into a rug.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, her quality is second to none. And they're made of New Zealand wool, they're hand tufted and backed. And each piece has a signature on it of mine. And so we collaborate together what will look the best in which home. So I'll send her some, a project that we're working on, or you can call us directly on any project you're working on, and the rugs come in any size, shape, and then there's over 150 colors. Plus, we can match whatever paint you and maybe your designer are working on.
There you go, Faith Berger and the art rug. So do you have a favorite? It's probably like picking your favorite kid, but do you have a favorite?
Well, we have a catalog with all the different pieces, and you can see, I'm not so sure on the camera, but how they come out in the rooms. So do I have a favorite? I love them all. Because in the rooms, they really do accent what you're doing, which is what we're talking about, sustainability.
Right.
You can draw a whole room together with a rug. So if you want to have, an accent piece on the floor,
right,
we can also hang them on the wall.
You just took it out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I figured that you could have the pieces when we were talking about design and pulling it all together. You may not have thought of that. So a lot of people are like, no, the rugs, they belong here, right? No, put them up on the wall and then blend.
Right, exactly. And so some were designed for, modern homes, traditional homes, children's rooms and a lot of designers will have the resources of looking through rugs, but they're really not available in an amoeba shape or triangular shape or anything you might need that would be unique. We can do any size, shape, or color. And it's a 10 to 12 week delivery.
Okay, I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Just like, again, anybody that's ever done anything that's unique and custom, it takes some time to deliver this beautiful piece of custom work.
But this is actually a big turnaround, a fast turnaround.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, 10 to 12 weeks.
Because a lot are 6 to 10 months.
What's the largest?
20 feet.
20 feet, wow.
Yeah, so hotel lobbies,
So again, the art rug and Faith Berger, this beautiful collaboration. We're also going to talk about, because there are pop-ups that Faith had mentioned earlier, and we want to talk about your collaboration with Neiman in just a second. But let's go to the comments. People are saying what a wonderful program for young kids, the Canvas for Kids, to allow them to be creative. That's by Diane. Angie said, I love the involvement and the voice you're giving young teenagers to be a part of the process. What a wonderful opportunity and program. She works with young kids. There's a lot of teachers, and I know watch this show on a regular basis, probably absolutely love this. Linda says, I love this program, Faith. All kids are creative. Let them express it. Stephanie says, Faith, you are so talented. Thank you for sharing. Again, this is taking the creativity in our younger generation and taking it to a whole new level. Diane said, I love the rugs. Love the abstract designs. I love the fact that you're able to take pieces and introduce people from an artistic standpoint to just maybe taking the very first piece that they never would have thought they would have been able to put into their home. I love modern. Okay, when I started dating my husband and he was much more traditional, it was, okay, how do you put this together? Right? That to me is probably what a lot of people find to be the most difficult. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think that when you're talking about coupling, in
On many
any
levels.
way, shape, or form, there's usually 2 points of view.
Yes.
two aesthetics, you know, and my husband and I always say, at least there's one sofa in the whole world we can agree on. There is always something,
right?
And that's why these homes will come together, you know. But it is, and by the way, it doesn't have to be my rug. If you have something in mind that you want, or there are designers that we work with who work with their clients, and you know, we're a resource for them as well. So we can match any wall color, or you know, any shape they might want, or theory, or you know.
So we have. Do you know Rip Kostaris? Oh, you do. So he was on this show several months ago, and I'm just wondering if he would want to take some of the pieces that he's done, turn them into rugs.
Well,
you two need to collaborate.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to put that together. I'm wondering if people want to take, after you do this canvas for kids, their pieces, and then have that turned into rugs.
You definitely can. You know, and by the way, and Canvas for Kids is awesome, and I'm so thrilled to partner with the library. I cannot tell you. And you know, we have other projects looming, and so it's very exciting. But you can also just go to Dick Blick,
and do
get
classes.
a canvas,
Yes,
and or not even a class. Just pick up. Just pick up a canvas and some paints and some basic brushes, and do it with your own kids.
What do you think about those painting and wine parties?
I think it's terrific.
I do too. I do. I mean, I just love the fact that all of these things came about for girlfriends to get together, couples to get together. I mean, what a fun, creative night out.
Yeah, it really is. And I tested the theory, of course, on my grandchildren and other children, anyone from 2 to 18. Of course, adults love this concept. But, and everyone kind of, their body relaxed, you know, and they were able to do what they want and watch the colors mesh together. If we were doing watercolor and the paint dripping, and they can mix the colors, or if it's you know, acrylic paint and how that differs from, you know, all these little theories, and they were all so excited to be a part of painting.
I just love to see everyone's creativity. And here's the thing that we haven't said yet. We always talk about self-love on this show, right? So don't berate yourself if you look over and think, like, especially with these kids, you don't want them to look over and go, oh my gosh, Susie or Johnny, theirs are better than ours. As you said, it's pulling the whole community together and lifting them up.
Yeah. Well, as you can see in the picture you showed with the junior board, you know, I started off talking about Monet, and yet wanted to honor what they were talking about for free form. And every single piece was their creation and how they saw it. And, you know, but we learned a couple concepts along the way, but they were excited for each other.
Right. Picasso. My brother introduced me to Dali, which I was like, oh, that's interesting interpretation. Van Gogh, etc. Again, finding your love and getting an opportunity to teach them at such a young age from that, and who knows where it goes. It could end up being that they take it beyond that. Maybe they paint as a hobby, and then they get into, like Faith did, the interior design work, which I absolutely love seeing. Again, the video that you can watch on her website, on Faith Berger's website, you can see the sunroom that she said that they did. And I just love when all of a sudden you take pieces, as she said, it could be heirlooms, and then you say, well, I want to do an entire room around this one chair that I just absolutely love. And then you do the curtains, and you do the furniture, etc. And suddenly it's your own pieces, but it's someone like Faith that's able to take you through that. Before we wrap up, talk about your collaboration with Neiman.
Oh, Neiman Marcus has been an amazing support. Also coming out of the pandemic, Neiman Marcus had kind of a place on their first floor. It was a little bit cavernous, tall, and I had talked to the manager, Dan Kramer, there, and said, what if we did an art gallery, and I'll curate a gallery for you, because it wasn't being used at the time, and it was July and August, and I brought in 4 artists, and we had all the different categories. We had a ceramicist, Norlene Norsey. We had Sam Stang, who was a glass artist, very well known, and Michael Baumeister, who crafts wood, gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. He's won every award known to mankind. And we had my artwork, and we created an entire environment for, like an art gallery, for 2 months that was up. And when they redid the Mariposa restaurant, which we all go to for the chicken salad and the popovers, and They were looking for artwork. You know, Neiman Marcus has been a huge supporter of art all over the 50 years. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. And so the Mariposa had a whole new redo, and Dan called me and he said, you know, we've looked at a lot of art, but yours seems to fit the space. So they've been very generous to me, very supportive, and I do paint very large scale. And they have a very large walls.
Yes, they do.
but I can illustrate there. We have a very gorgeous 7 by 9 foot rug on the wall. I was able to showcase my larger pieces, which are a lot of times done with silver foil and gold leaf, acrylic wash, modeling paste. And then, so I did a gallery wall, and then I did the large wall in the back, which is called Morning Light. And everything's sort of a positive bent.
Love that.
You know, the names are feeling good and friendship and, you know, all of these concepts that we want to do every day in our life. You know, we all have a lot of stress, and just to feel good about, you know, how we want to conduct our life. So Neiman Marcus has been extremely, you know, supportive of me.
Wonderful.
And it's been a great collaboration. And then Champion Floor houses all the rugs. They are our, you know, our showroom.
So your pieces with Neiman, are they still on display?
Yes.
And if so, for how long?
Yes. I just switched out one wall. They're up indefinitely.
Okay.
We get a lot of great response to that. And so I just switched them out as they either sell or, you know, feel in need of refresh.
So here, I'm just going to throw it out there because I love manifestation. I say that Champion and Neiman and you and the Real Monica Adams, we do this big collaboration together. We bring you all of our Monica's Maniacs, to Neiman to see this. We have some hors d'oeuvres and champagne, and
that would
let's
be
do
amazing.
it big. All right, well, let's talk. We'll talk about that. Again, canvasforkids.org. Let's give all the information of where you can follow Faith, how you can get your kids involved. Canvasforkids.org is the website. Again, several branches of the St. Louis County Libraries. Again, this particular weekend, Saturday, January 4th, is full. So don't wait on this, because the artists are getting ready to just absolutely explode. They are your own children, or your grandchildren, your nieces or nephews. If you're looking for something for them to do, maybe this is it. Again, there are opportunities in February and March, as you see on the screen. Go to canvasforkids.org. Michelle's been doing a great job dropping in information of how you can follow Faith online, as well as on Instagram and on Facebook. I can see Faith's art designs in drapes. That's what Hats by Diane just said. I love all of this. What is the youngest child in your class? It's 7 to 11.
In this particular class, yes.
Yes, 7 to 11. So, again, get your children involved in that. You are a pleasure. I'm so glad that Diane introduced us. She's always got these great ideas of guests that she thinks. And by the way, let's say that. If you have ideas of guests that you think should be a part of our show, shoot me an email, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. We would love to find out more about shining the spotlight on incredible humans doing really wonderful work. And I love the fact that we wrapped it up with the message of positivity, that we need more of that in life. You all know, if you watch this show, that we end with a devotion. So we're going to pick, actually, instead of the what it's about, I'm just going to have her pick a color, since she's in the artistic world. Those books over there, which color are you being drawn to?
The purple.
Oh, see, everybody loves the purple. Okay, so 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety from our friend Stephen Arterburn. That's how we'll wrap up the show when we return. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh, wait. And welcome back at 8 o'clock. Yes. I love it. It's such a real show. We were talking at the break. Faith just said, would you like to do something at Neiman? The answer is yes. Neiman, yes. Let's get involved. I think that would be a blast. We could do a mobile Monica from Neiman Marcus and get you all out there to see the fabulous work that she does. I want to give a shout out. I'm not sure if she's still watching, but I saw our Aunt Janet, who is very much in the design world. They own King Cotton in Birmingham, Alabama, which is a place that you would love. Does a lot of reupholstery, etc. They've been around for 50 plus years. So she was obviously drawn to the titling, I'm sure, of today's show. So yeah, spread this along. Aunt Janet, if you're still watching, hi, we miss you. So purple, everyone either picks the color or they pick that this is the one that we want freedom from. 100 days to freedom from fear and anxiety. And today it's called Fruitful Life. It's day 54. The Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives: love and joy, peace and patience, kindness and goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There's no law against these things. Galatians 5, verses 22 to 23. As followers of Christ, we're given the gift of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit helps us as we grow in our awareness of how to live our lives centered on Jesus and his teachings. The challenge is that we are human, living our physical life on earth. It takes supernatural power to change us to be more and more like Jesus. That's why the Holy Spirit was given to us. Anxiety and fear, very much a part of the human condition. And for some of us, they are so powerful that we're not experiencing the fruit of the Holy Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. It's not because we don't want to. It's just that our fears and anxieties can challenge the growth of this fruit. Don't be discouraged. There is hope. I think that's all everybody really wants to ever hear, is there is hope. The Holy Spirit works through prayer, God's word, through counseling, support through other people. As healing begins, you will feel more of each of these fruits and know that the Spirit is working in your life. As you continue to seek God's wisdom and truth for your life, you'll grow and experience freedom in Christ. Jill Briscoe says, I believe God, through his Spirit, grants us love, joy, and peace no matter what is happening in our lives. And as Christians, we shouldn't expect our joy to always feel like happiness, but instead recognize joy as inner security, a safeness in our life with Christ. And here's today's prayer. Thank you, Jesus, for your gift of the Holy Spirit. Help me to be aware of the way you're guiding my life through this gift. Thank you for your presence. Amen. And we talked about gifts today. Maybe it's natural God-given gifts, or maybe it's being introduced to someone wonderful like Faith Berger, who takes it and says, I believe in you, kids. Let's take this and let's introduce you to art. And then they give that gift back to us in the world. Faith, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It was wonderful having you. And again, looking forward to future collaborations. We got a lot of fun things that we can do together. Tomorrow, we are going to wrap up 2024, and we're taking the show on the road. It's going to be exciting. Michelle and I have been very busy behind the scenes putting together some of the top news stories that maybe you have forgotten about, whether it's national or local. We're talking about some of our favorite guests we've had. And I went through and did a bunch of editing last night, taking all of our mobile Monicas. There's so many that we've done, but I've taken some of the really fun ones that have stood out in our memory. And maybe I'll be adding some more in today. So don't miss that. And we would love for you to be really interactive tomorrow and tell us what you remember most from 2024. Maybe you want to forget the year, and I get that. Sometimes it's, I just got to get out of this year. It's been a horrible one. I can't wait for the next one. There's always hope, right? So 2025 right around the corner, but tomorrow, the full wrap-up. So we'll love to see you tomorrow morning. Remember what I always tell you. Maybe you want to become a beautiful artist or interior designer. Dream it, believe in it, but before you're anything, be kind. God bless you all. Have a great day.